of the UK, the nation's Supreme Court determining the term woman refers exclusively to biological females. The unanimous decision clarifies transgender women, even those with gender recognition certificates, because it's that thing, are not legally classified as women for purposes of sex-based rights and protections.
The central question on this appeal is the meaning of the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010. The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex. But we counsel against reading this judgment as a triumph of one or more groups in our society at the expense of another. It is not.
Well, the judges there emphasizing their judgment is limited to the meaning of the 2010 Equality Act and not a comment on whether trans women are women. But several women's groups and some big names are celebrating the ruling as a victory. Author J.K. Rowling posting this: "It took 3 extraordinary, tenacious Scottish women with an army behind them to get this case heard by the Supreme Court, and in winning, they've protected the rights of women and girls across the UK." Yesterday's ruling indeed marks a turning of the tide on this topic, which has been the center of a growing debate here in the United States. The Trump administration owning the issue, taking a strong stance with executive orders, keeping transgender athletes out of women's sports, and a day one order recognizing only 2 genders. Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. going a step further, issuing guidance with updated official definitions for the terms man and woman. This all comes, of course, years after one of our very own Supreme Court justices, Ketanji Brown Jackson, had a tough time. She actually struggled to define the word woman. Here is Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn pressing her on that very issue during her confirmation hearing in 2022.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
All right. Joining me now, Newsmax contributor Deneen Borelli, alongside the president of the Judicial Crisis Network, Carrie Severino, and also with us, president of Strollmark LLC, Hilary Fordwich. Hilary, I'm going to start with you here. The UK judges deciding on something practical. Yes, there is a biological difference between men and women. Give us a little insight, any nuances that stand out to you there.
Yes, absolutely, Katrina, and smashing being back with you. A few things here. A lot has gone on in Scotland, and some of it really hasn't made the US press. And that was that somebody called Isla Bryson was born a male and was jailed and went to a male prison, but then changed genders and was then in a female prison and committed 2 rapes. It was ghastly back in 2022. So that really affected Scotland. And then also, don't forget, out of Scotland, there was Hayley Davison, who was a male, born a male, then tried to join the LPGA tour. So there was a lot of, outrage about that. So these 2 factors have really played a lot. But there where J.K. Rowling said she was absolutely right, there were 3 women who simply would not let this go, Women for Scotland, but also another group called Sex Matters. And they've really pushed. And again, don't forget, they went up against the Scottish government, the UK government, and Amnesty International weighed in against them. So these 3 women were so tenacious, given those rapes and things that had happened in Scotland, they did not give up. We all, I think, across the world, owe them a lot of gratitude. And last but not least, what this really means, it started out with regard also to women on boards and lots of business issues, but it means that now there will be safe spaces, not just in prisons, but in sports and across the nation. And hopefully this affects the worldview that a woman is a woman, and no longer will we pussyfoot around this issue. I'm sorry for the pun.